Hey guys, this is Adrian, your Warsaw Real Estate Insider. Today we have a question from Gilad, and let's see what he's saying. Hi, I plan to buy an apartment and divide it into 2 internal units. I consulted with different sources and most of them told me that I need to submit an official application to the municipality and get a permit from them, otherwise it is illegal to divide an apartment on my own accord. Obtaining the permit will take at least 2 to 3 months and it will make it difficult to carry out the deal, assuming they approve. Does anyone have similar experiences and know the regulations regarding division of internal apartments? Thank you in advance. Okay, so it just happens that I've divided a flat into 2 rooms, or let's say not apartments because it's rooms really. That video, by the way, where I divide the flat and I show the ROI, go back to my channel and look at that video if you find it. So here's the thing. There's the completely legal and both ways are legal, just to be clear. There's 2 ways. It goes more into detail. So there's a number of KAVU, which is Księga Wieczysta, which is basically the records of the ownership, and each flat has its own number, each land has its own KAVU. So the number of the cadastral code, or some countries call it, or the identification number of a flat or real estate, yes? So if you're going to get 2 separate ones and then sell each flat on its own, that's the benefit of getting the separate KAVUs. Yes, you do need permits, and you also need to fulfill all of the warunki techniczne, which is the technical rules, such as, for example, the windows should be on a scale, the ratio between the floor and the windows should be 1:8. So 1 window for 8 square meters of floor, yeah? 1 square meter of window to 8. And then it needs to be minimum 25 square meters. Of course, you can make smaller flats, but they're not like flats in its usual sense. It's gonna be, for example, they make renton, or that's what they call it in Poland. It's just co-living spaces where the flats are less than that, but they don't have their own separate KAVUs. Actually, there's even another way around that. There's a company called Arshi, I think. I don't know. I'll search it. And Arshi, that's what it's called. It's a man with a big mustache. That's the brand. That's the founder. So he actually makes them smaller and then sells shares in the building. And I don't know exactly how he does it, but you can make smaller ones in a commercial type of building. So he makes hotels, and basically the owners can live there themselves, or they can give it to the management of the hotel, this little flat, and then get an income from that, completely passively. So it's a business model that works. But anyways, let's focus on what me and you as private investors usually want to do. So if you go that route where you're actually dividing the flat separately, you cannot do that in every apartment, even if you fulfill all of the regulations. So you would have to I don't have enough knowledge. If someone is interested, we can get in contact with the people who have done it and actually separate the flat. But in that case, you for sure need to have the let's say, agreement of not the municipality, but the wspólnota, which is the building administration, yes? And also not in every case. So that's going to be also depending on some legal things, which I don't know currently, yes? Because I didn't try to do it. Usually, if you want to do it completely legal, it's better to already consult with the developer and buy from the primary market and split it right from the beginning. And that would be much easier, yes, than to buy an old flat with this kind of housing associations, which is going to block you. Okay, so let's get to the second case, which is probably what most of you are interested in, what I did. And I have a funny story coming up for you guys. So here's the thing. If you do what I did, you buy a flat, it has enough windows, let's say it's less than 50 square meters, which means each flat is going to be less than 25, which is, as a new constructed flat today, it's not legal to have something below 25 square meters. So if you do that, and officially I don't have 2 flats, I just have 1 flat, which has 2 rooms with their own kitchens and bathrooms, and that's what it is. Because you enter the apartment, and then from that little entry, you have 1 door to the left one and 1 door to the right apartment, yeah? So if you do that, you might get into trouble, as I actually got into trouble. And this is something I wanted to make a video about for a long time, but I just didn't have the time to do it. So here's the deal. I was unlucky, and this happens once every, I don't know, every 100 times someone renovates a flat, but the administration or maybe a neighbor during the renovation got angry at the noises or whatever I was doing, they were not sure. And actually my apartment was pełna własność, which means full ownership, and they had no right to tell me which walls I can remove or not. Like not the bearing walls, but the non-bearing walls, which are dividing the flat, yeah? So anyways, for whatever reason, they reported me to PINB, which is the technical inspection controllers of Warsaw and Poland, yeah? And I'm in trouble. So I didn't know about this. They made some procedural mistakes. They sent some mails into some addresses which I was not living at. And so here's the whole deal. Now they took money from my account because for 3 months I had no idea that they were proceeding this case against me. And they took 8,000 zloty, which is quite a lot and also not much at the same time. But they are forcing me to give them documentation that everything, all the renovations were done in good condition. And I have papers, of course, for the electricity, for everything is done well. I do have some problems though. For example, the bathroom doors, I had no idea, and my architect had no idea. I'll make a video about architects after this, what you should look out for. But here's the thing. I hired an architect, which was an amazing creative person. I mean, her design was awesome. I just can say that. And my flat turned out to be awesome. The rents are at least 20% above market rate right now for me. But she didn't know about some small details. For example, that the bathroom doors should be minimum 80 centimeters. And here's the thing, no one cares about this stuff. If you renovate your flat, you have less than that. And old bathrooms had doors which were smaller. If that is the case, usually no one reports it, no one checks it. But if you're unlucky like I was, which was my first renovated flat in Warsaw, well, it can bite you in the rear later on. Because now I have to not only show the reports that everything was done fine and up to the legal and technical codes, but the risk is they can ask me to turn it back into the original state or remove the bathroom and the extra kitchen. And to be fair, I knew these risks when I divided the flat, and I just happened to be the one who had to, maybe pay for these mistakes, yeah? Jason told me about this risk before I made the 2-pack. I'm happy that I did the flat, the division, but keep this in mind that if you do it, you gotta keep it quiet. I hope you don't have bad neighbors who just get annoyed and report everything. That was the case with me. Now I have to change doors. I have to also find someone and pay for the reports and stuff. It's a headache, man. It's a headache. So be careful of that. The return, I'm super happy with it because I'm getting around 10% gross ROI and around 7.5-8% net, and that's amazing. Yeah, you can't get that right now. Yeah, you can't get that in a normal flat, yeah, with a studio. At least 2 to 3% less. So yeah, that's the risk if you do it on your own. And if you decide to do it, definitely have pełna własność, because legally, if it's a współwłasność, then you're not even allowed to make changes in the flat without the written agreement of the wspólnota. Yeah, so you definitely can't do it there. Here you can, but it's a gray area of the technical law and stuff. By the way, join our Facebook group if you haven't already, and meet me in Warsaw if you come. Let's have a coffee. So just to conclude everything, you can do it. It depends if it's pełna własność, if it's a wspólnota, if you're gonna divide the KAVU. And for all of this, get in touch with me. I'll put you in touch with a lawyer that I know. Of course, you still have to take risks, whatever you do, and I believe it's worth it. But yeah, gotta keep an eye out. So I'm gonna update you guys in the future how it goes, but I think I'm gonna close this case, and I'm just gonna change the doors into something bigger, even though I don't have space because these are small flat, but it should be fine. So if you haven't watched my latest video, click right here, and